You're on.
Agenda special commission meeting, 5:30 PM, Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. Pledge of allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Jacobs? Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins?
Here.
Vice Mayor Morset?
Here.
Mayor Mahon?
Here.
No quorum.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this matter? I bring it before the commission. We have resolution 5.1. I'm sorry, I need 5.1, resolution number 2023-07.
Mayor, could you move your mic down? Thank you.
There you
Oh,
go.
sorry.
You'll learn it.
It's not
20
the
years.
ones. Yeah, exactly. Okay, a resolution of the town, commission of the town of Pembroke Park, Florida, adopting Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised as may be amended from time to time as the official rules and procedures for conducting town business, establishing certain procedures for the town commission meeting, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. So everyone has a copy.
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Which commissioner up here has been trained on Robert's Rules of Orders?
What is it? What was the question?
Who has had training and is certified in Robert's Rules of Orders?
I haven't been certified, but I have read them.
Okay. Everyone has been given several copies of it. We can arrange for training on that. Those who have sat
Wasn't
on.
done speaking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead. I thought you
So-
were when you took the pause.
No.
Okay.
It's because I'm sitting here looking and going through my notes. When it comes to Robert's Rules of Orders, it's very complicated. It's rules that we follow to conduct our meetings. I think it's very important before we put something in place that all the commissioners are properly trained in it, have attended at least a class and have an understanding of what we're dealing with before we put something in place. I believe we're putting the cart before the horse on this one. And with nobody being trained in Robert's Rules of Orders, I think it would be very difficult to follow them because no one is aware of what they actually are. Understand you read it, but reading it and understanding it are two different things, reading over the top of it. So I believe we should have to have training to go through before we proceed with putting this in place.
So you'd like to have training yourself?
Training for all the commissioners,
All
not
the
just for
commissioners.
myself. All
Okay.
the commissioners need it, and including staff that are involved.
I don't have a problem with that, but does anybody here have a problem with that?
Well, I think that most government agencies operate on Robert's Rules regardless of whether or not the commissioners have been trained on it or not. This has been the practice that has been occurring in this city for basically about 60-some years, as well as most other agencies, not just government agencies. Every board follows Robert's Rule. So this was just a formality to have it adopted so that we could have some rules and procedures in place in some order versus having conversations that go on and on where anybody could say or do whatever they want without having any type of ability to stop.
Okay, with that said, why don't we do both? You know, we'll
adopt
we'll
it.
go ahead and
Right.
adopt it, and then we'll have training sessions or however that works.
Well, you can't, if you adopt it, you can't hold people accountable to it till they're trained on it.
Well,
That
everyone
that would be nothing different than me putting me in, say, a 777 at the airport one day saying, you're going to fly this plane. I go out and crash the plane because I've never flown it before, never had proper training on it, and everybody dies, and then you hold me accountable for it. That's exactly what you're going to do here. You're passing an ordinance to hold people accountable to Robert's Rules of Orders. Since 1957, since the town of Pembroke Park was established, and your prior 17 years here, Robert's Rules of Orders have never been adopted. In the O.L. Ringo report in 2018, it was recommended that we adopt the rules, and it was never adopted from that point on.
When you
So-
were mayor, how come you didn't adopt it?
we didn't have a need for it. We didn't have issues up here where it was a big deal. So we had discussions and we were able to get through things. We never had the issue, so we never had to adopt it. Since 57, the town hasn't. So now we're going to adopt it. But I believe everyone should be properly trained in it before doing it. When you get a gun, and you get your CCW. Do you have to go through training?
We're talking about that.
I am. I'm talking about everything comes with training prior to getting something. So what you're talking about doing is passing something that no one sitting up here has had proper training in.
I've taken classes before. I know that when people go on planning and zoning, they do give them a booklet. You have received a booklet several times from both this clerk as well as the previous clerk. If you choose not to read it, you can't hold us accountable for the fact that you choose not to read the training. They also provide classes at every League of Cities meeting. Jurassic Parliament has been one. You go to every conference, so I'm not exactly sure why this is becoming an issue. If you sat on previous boards with other organizations, whether it's a Urban League, a Broward League of Cities, Florida League of Cities, or any other U.S. Conference of Mayors board, you've sat through, and everyone uses Robert's Rules. Robert's Rules is usually put in place before you even have commissioners. So if it had been adopted in 1957, what would you do for 1950, 1961, 1967, 1977, 1973, every 4 years when new commissioners come into place? Would you say, hey, we're going to get rid of Robert's Rules so that we can adopt it every single 4 years when there's a newly elected body impaneled?
Actually, I
And-
spent a lot of time discussing with the town manager and the town clerk over Robert's Rules and having a training program for all the new commissioners when they come in, so they are properly trained, they understand what's going on, they understand how it works. That being part of the training for new commissioners coming in. I think it's very appropriate that everyone is properly trained on it before something's put in place.
Okay, so you said your piece. I would like to see some order and decorum on this dais when we need to be able to move meetings along and not have things dragging out because people want to continue to talk over and over and over and keep talking until they get their way or until this.
Like shutting off microphones, calling to have me removed from the dais.
Well, that's
or even
called
the town clerk sitting here trying to have me arrested by the police chief that was just fired 30 seconds prior.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, do you really want to talk about arrest reports and things like that have occurred repeatedly? Because, I mean, we could get into that conversation. I think that it is imperative that this commission have some type of decorum. And I think that this commission needs to move forward in enacting some type of rules, whether it's Robert's Rules, but I think Robert's Rules is the most popular as it's been in existence for over 200 years? I'm not sure. Does anyone have a date on when Robert's Rules came into effect?
200 sounds good.
1800 something.
1800. I mean, it's not something new. It's not something that, we need to reinvent the wheel or ride a bike on. You've been sitting on boards all this time. Everybody pretty much on this panel has sat in boards for different organizations. So I don't see what the problem is in adopting it. And yes, we can have training. I had already spoken with the HR director regarding providing training, and she was getting the price from Jurassic Parliament. This was discussed during the previous administration when we said, let's have Robert's Rules trainings. And that was supposed to happen back when Yolanda, when you didn't have these other two new commissioners. So I would like to move forward in adopting some type of order tonight so that we can have some kind of decorum. And if you have any questions, we'll hand you another pamphlet to show what Robert's Rules are and a cheat sheet.
And again, I'm just saying you're putting the cart before the horse. Everyone up here needs proper training before you can hold someone accountable to it.
Thank you. We heard your argument.
Okay,
Acknowledged.
I think our town code of conduct that we adopted pursuant to Resolution 2020-090 in December of 2020 should have been enough to keep people at least civil with each other.
I've never seen it this civil before in my 17 years of sitting on this dais, and I mean, I don't know what happened or how we're going to move forward with this if we continue to have repeated outbursts, repeated filibustering, on this dais. We have things that we need to get done to better serve this town. And right now, the back and forth bickering and the useless arguments and the useless conversation on irrelevant items is distracting this commission from doing their job. And so I would like to see something adopted today so that we can move forward and get things done in the right path.
All right, let's move it to consent then.
Well, I need a motion to adopt the resolution.
Yeah, this is an actual special meeting, so you can vote on it right now.
Oh, okay. Let's have a vote on to adopt the.
I motion to adopt.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Motion made by
Eric.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Morset, seconded by Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem. Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem.
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Morset.
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
No.
Motion passes 4-1.
Attorney's comments?
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Town manager comments?
None.
Your argument is a valid one, I think, so.
Okay. Commissioner Jacobs, any comments?
Yep, I think this is just another way that the attorney's trying to, or the mayor is trying. I think this is just another way the mayor is trying to manipulate the rules to silence me. As everyone is aware, you were given notice tonight from my attorney. It was on submitted also to the town clerk, the town attorney, town manager. You all received it in hard copy and via email.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, just want to make sure you were finished this time. Acting Clerk Commissioner Grisham, any comments?
No comments.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins?
No, thank you.
Vice Mayor Morset?
No.
Okay. I have no comments at this time. Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned at 5:54. What else?
Thank you.
Welcome.